Alright, today we'll be taking a look at the 5 main builds that you can build from the latest Vanguard BT06. So featuring Shadow Paladin, Murakumo, Dark Irregulars, and also Pale Moon. Alright, so first up we have Shadow Paladin featuring Mordred Phantom. Right, so as you can see in this deck, there's actually lesser grade 3 compared to the normal build. The original build we only had 4, and it's actually quite stable, just that we need a backup. So of course Mordred is 4 copies. So for the backup we actually have the Dangerous Dragon, right? So when this can enter the field, Soul Blast 1, you can add a grade 2 from your drop to hand. So you can actually pull back any of these 3, so Blaster Dark, Masquerade, or Matcha. Okay, so and as a Vanguard and Rearguard effect, I can actually, when attacking, if there are 3 or more force marker on the field, I can Soul Blast a grade 3. During this battle, this unit get power plus 10,000, critical plus 1, and your opponent cannot Sentinel. Right, so the main objective of this deck is using Mordred Phantom and Blaster Dark and create as many force marker as you can in the early part of the game. And we will end game with this, as your opponent can use Sentinel, and if there's like 3 markers on the same circle, this thing is at least 53,000 without boost. So this is the main attacker in this deck. So of course you need 4 Blaster Dark. Right, and our first grade 2 VR, Masquerade. When enter the field, look at top 7. You can either add a Mordred Phantom or a Blaster Dark to hand. And after that, shuffle the deck. If you add a card, retire one of your rear guard. So if you were to write this on your grade 2 and there's no grade 1, it's actually a free cost. And as a Vanguard and Rearguard, we're attacking, and this unit get plus 3,000 during this battle. Right, so actually pretty useful. Definitely a 4 copy for the Mordred build. Right, if you are playing the Phantom Blaster or the Gas Blaster deck, you don't really need him. This is purely for the Mordred build. Next, we have the Matcha. Right, the main card that is seen in almost every Shadow Paladin deck. It helps you draw cards, and it's a plus, so why not? So definitely 4 copies. Right, next let's go to the grade 1, which is, as you can see, the most in this deck. Alright, so first up we have another Masquerade, grade 1. Enter the field, counterblast 1. Sorry, it's not even enter the field, it's activate. Counterblast 1, send this into Soul. Alright, add a Blaster, call a Blaster Dark from your drop zone onto a rearguard circle, and you get plus 5,000 during this turn. So not only you revive your Blaster Dark for the Mordred effect, you get 1 more force marker. It gets additional power plus 5,000. Alright, and when boosting this unit get plus 3,000. So it's pretty much your key card in this deck. So 4. And we have Nevan, which is not really a must play, but it's a good to have to help you filter off your deck to have more triggers left. Right, and we have Charon, which is to tag with Matcha for the counter charge and to draw and plus power. So we're only playing 3 copies, as it's not a main. Swordbreaker, we have 2 copies here for Nevan. Tap, call her out, counterblast 1 and draw 1. So to increase the amount of cards in your hand, so that there's higher chance of you getting all the puzzle pieces you need. And the additional card that we actually have in this set is in this deck is actually the Fierce Sword Dragon. So retire this unit. During this turn, 2 of your unit get plus 3,000. So it actually allows your Blaster Dark to have a base of 13,000, which can hit almost every single thing, unless they were to write into a grade 4 with 14k. But without that, it's just a 13k and it can hit almost everything, which helps a lot. Your opponent had to use more cards to guard. Right, so it's not a must play. So if you do not want to play these, you can actually increase the amount of grade 3 in your deck, right, to make it more stable, yes. And for the trigger, it's the typical 8 critical, 4 heal, 4 draw, and our first Vanguard. Alright, so that's for Mordred build. Alright, next up we'll take a look at the Murakumo featuring HYU-GA, the new VR for Murakumo. So you have two activate ability. The first one, Counterblast 1, right, and search from your deck one card with the same grade as any of the unit on your opponent's field. So if your opponent is a grade 3 with grade 2 and grade 1 rearguard, you can basically search for almost everything. Alright, call it onto the rearguard circle, shuffle the deck, and during this turn, all units on both players' field, the name changed to HYU-GA, right? The exact same name as this unit. So everyone shares the same name. Alright, and the second effect, you can Soul Blast a grade 3, and all rear guards on your opponent field with the same name as any other unit get returned back to deck and shuffle. So basically, you clear opponent's field, and not only that, if you remember, there's a lot of cards in the Murakumo set that actually have boosts if you have cards with the same name. So this is a very interesting card, and I believe this is the first time they have actually have a card that affects your opponent's card's name. Right. Next we have Yakivoke. Finally, we have the non-reverse version, and very simple effect. Activate as a Vanguard rearguard. Counterblast 1, discard one card from hand. Search for one card with the same name as this unit. Call it onto a rearguard circle. Shuffle the deck. If you have 5 or more rearguard on the field, 5 or more unit on the field, during this turn, all units with the same name as this card get power plus 10,000. Right, I feel that it's a very good combination. So after I call this out and I call another Hyaki, I fill on my field, and because everyone's name is HYU-GA right now, so other than the Hyaki vote that was called last, everyone get power plus 10,000. Alright, that's a lot. Next we have our favorite Shiryuki. Can be used for both offensive and defensive. So if you call it on the Vanguard circle or the Guardian circle, Soul Blast 2, 3 units in your opponent front row get power minus 10,000. If it's a rear guard, minus 5,000 instead. Right, so this is offensive and defensive in this deck. Very, very useful. Alright, so as you can see, we actually have included the Shiryuki support, and is to have the pressure, is to give the opponent pressure to whether to guard or not to guard. Okay, and she also helps to soul charge. As you can see that we have a lot of soul blast units in this set, so this is actually very useful. So 4-3. Right, let's take a look at the other supports that we played. We chose Spellhound, right? Spellhound due to the fact that I just need a Soul Blast to fill out the field instead of using Counter Blast, which is pretty Counter Blast heavy for this deck. And it actually, after Soul Blast 2, you can actually gain the effect of gain the power of your Vanguard. So if your Vanguard is at let's say 32,000 base, due to some effect, this thing becomes 32,000 base. Right, you can still add on power to it. Very useful. Alright, the promo card that we added in, this is Meomaru. So when attacking, Soul Blast 1, and during this turn, all your rear guards with the same name as your Vanguard get power plus 5,000, which is everything on the field. So you get a bonus 5,000 power to everyone. Alright, it's not a must. You can change it to Fushimi or whatever if you need. And we have Jiraiya. So this is your ideal first right. So when enter a field on the Vanguard circle, draw 1, return 1 card from your hand back to the bottom deck. Right, so you can actually manipulate your hand, and as you can see, there's other duplicate cards like Spellhound, need to find Spellhound, Hyuga need to find Hyuga. So if you have multiple copies in your hand at the start of the game, you can actually return back to the deck. So pretty useful. And by Counter Blast 1, you can actually give a Vanguard power plus 10,000, which is a very good combination with Spellhound. Right, and some of the older cards we have Blazer. So Counter Blast 1, send to Soul. Choose 3 units with the same name as your Vanguard, and it gets power plus 5,000. If you choose 3, draw 1. And also we have another PR. So during your Vanguard attacking battle, if your opponent call a Sentinel from hand, alright, you can return a normal unit from your drop back to the deck, and from your deck search for 1 unit with the same name as your Vanguard, call it on the rearguard circle and shuffle the deck. So if your opponent were to use a Sentinel, you can actually have an additional 1 attack. Right, and this is Excel clan, so you can actually call your Excel circle and have extra attack with higher power. So it's a very fun card. 2 copies. And as this is a fast-paced deck, we go for 8 crit instead of any front trigger. And that's for Hyuga. And if you want to go back to, let's say, Arrester, the dual dragon build, you just need to switch out the cards that's non-Shirayuki. So you can actually change this to dual dragon, Zanpaku, Zangeki, and maybe these few cards that's change it back to Arrester and add the central Arrester inside, and that's pretty much another build already. Alright, so that's for the Hyuga. Alright, now let's take a look at Dark Irregulars featuring the new VR Bulbphase. So see, activate once per turn, Counter Blast 1, and search from your deck up to 3 cards with the same name, and if there's a card with the same name in the soul, add 1 of them to your hand, the rest into soul, and shuffle the deck. So let's say there's only 1 copy in the deck, you can actually add it to your hand. And when attacking, you can, if there are 2 or more grade 3 in your soul, choose one of the rearguard on your field or your opponent's field, retire it, and during this turn, this unit get its power and crit. Right, pretty interesting. Right, so we are playing 4 copies since this is a featured card, and we have No Life King, 4 copy, as it goes well with almost every single Dark Irregular build. And also our main finisher with his Master of Fifth Element. You don't really need a lot of copies, since if we were to write No Life King and it's in the soul, you can basically just pull it out from the soul. For the multiple attack, let's take a look at the grade 2. If you notice, most of the cards in these decks are 4 copies, because most of the effect requires 3 copies in the deck or more, so it's 4 of everything, and it's very tight. We don't have a lot of choices. To be exact, we have too many choices and we are not sure what to put in. Right, so let's go for the main first. And Emblem Master, and when it's on the rear guardian circle, it gets power plus 5,000, defense plus 5,000 if there are 7 or more souls. Very easy. When it enters the field, you can Counter Blast 1, select a unit on your field, and choose up to a total of 3 cards from your deck or drop with the same name, put them into the soul. So it's pretty much a setup card, help you get 3 or more copies in the soul to kick off most of the effect. So definitely a 4 copy. Right, so let's take a look at the other grade 2 choices we made. First, we have the Icicle Resistant. When intercept and it retires from the Guardian Circle, you can send it to Soul instead. It's to increase the soul, and high chance your opponent won't allow you to intercept with it, right? And when it's in the soul, you can bind this from the soul. During this turn, one unit get power plus 10,000. Alright, so after you during your final turn, you have like 3 copies in your soul. You can just bind them, add to the rear guards, and No Life King retire the back row, and you have high power front row to attack for that turn. So we chose 4 of these. Next, we have the new guard restrict we have for Dark Regular. So when enter the field, it's free cost. If you have 3 different cards with 3 copies in the soul, during this turn when your opponent call from hand onto the Guardian Circle, they must call 3 or more cards at the same time. So even if they want a Sentinel, they have to discard 2 more cards onto the Guardian Circle. So a total of 4 cards, which is very painful. Especially with No Life King, you can potentially attack like 3 times, 4 times. If you go for Master of 5th Element, another 3 times. So it's like 7 times around there. Right, and it's pretty easy with Ember Master and Belfast. So definitely 4 copies. So basically the only one that you can exchange out is Icicle Resistance. So depending on your playstyle, you may want to play other things. But for now, I try my best to choose something with as little cost as possible. Next, we have Yellow Boat. So it's a great first strike unit. So when rolled upon, you may soul charge 2, and if there's a trigger unit among them, you can draw 1. If you attack a grade 2 and above, soul charge 1, and this unit get plus 5,000. So if you notice, this is the only unit in this deck with random soul charge. The rest of the cards in this deck actually chose what you want to soul charge into your soul, other than the No Life King initial right. So this deck's soul charging is a lot slower than the previous build, but it's a lot cleaner. You have a lot of triggers left in the deck at the late game, right? So Doreen the Truster, definitely 4 copies for the additional power. And the other choice that we made was Killer Tail. This is actually my favorite in this deck. So once per turn, rest this unit, choose 1 card from your damage zone or your drop, send it into the soul, and if you chose from the damage zone, put the top of your deck face down into your damage zone. If there's 3 copies of her in the deck, in the soul, you get to counter charge 1 and stand this unit. So let's say these are a few. So we start grade 1. We call 1 Killer Tail back row. End turn. During next turn, I write Ember Master, counterblast 1, chose her, put 3 copies into the soul, and yep, your combo is done. Simple. Alright, and with this, you can actually put cards that's in the drop or in the damage zone into the soul, so that you can actually activate Belfast a lot faster. You can just choose any of the unit. Let's say you wanted like 4 of her in the soul or 3 of her in the soul, and you can just put 1 of her from the damage zone into the soul. Search for the other 3, 1 go to the hand, the other 2 go to soul. So you have 3 copies already. So it's pretty easy for you to have 3 copies of anything in this deck. Even though it's a bit slow, but average you have around 15 cards in soul, right? Which is, I think, is more than enough, right? Unless we are going for the 20 soul combo. Other than that, 15 soul should be more than enough, right? So that's our new Dark Regular deck. Okay, now let's take a look at Pale Moon. Alright, so another clan that actually make full use of the soul. And we finally have the Silver Thorn series, look here. So during your turn, if you call 2 or more units from the soul, during this turn, this unit get power plus 10,000. This is a Vanguard Rearguard skill. Okay, and counter blast 2, discard 1 card from hand. Call any amount of cards from the soul with Silver Thorn in name on the rearguard circle, and during this turn, all rearguards in your front row get power plus 3000. Okay, so that's our main VR, our main Vanguard, and these are support that you must play. Alright, so Dorian, so during end of your turn, return all rearguards, okay, into soul, other than her, and you get to draw 1 for every 2 cards sent into soul. If you send 4 or more, you can add 1 grade 3 Silver Thorn from soul into hand and retire this unit from the rearguard circle. So after attacking, let's say I have another Lucia on the field previously, send them into soul, from the soul add 1 Lucia back to hand, next thing you can write again. Right, it's very simple, and this is actually the main feature that we need in Pale Moon to send the unit on the field back into soul so they can do more things. The previous builds have this problem where we can't really return the rearguards back into the soul, right? So this actually solved a lot of problem. Next, we played the Chimera, right? The grade 3 common card. Attacking Soul Blast 1, send the rearguard into soul, and this unit get power plus 5000, and if you have not countercharge during this turn, you may countercharge. Very useful, as you can see, Lucia counter plus 2 for every turn, so you need something that actually help you gain the resource back. So we chose Chimera, but for players that do not really like it, you can actually go for Knife Dancer, yeah. So but take note, this only counter charge when there's no face out card in your damage zone, while this you can just counter charge from early part of the game. Okay, so it's up to personal preference. Next, all our rear guards other than that are basically Silver Thorn, and this is one of the main feature. If you have 4 or more different type of Silver Thorn in soul, this unit get power plus 10,000. That's why we have played as many as we can, even the triggers. I wanted to play 8 crit, but I went for 4 crit and 4 front instead. And not only that, when this card enter the field, you may counterblast 1, search for 1 Silver Thorn, and into soul. So you can actually pull out your combo. Let's say at the start of the game you do not have Lucia, you only have Dorian. You can actually search for Lucia, send her into soul, end of turn return all rear guard back to soul, add Lucia back to your hand. So basically it solves a lot of issue. Okay, and if you need more attacker or you need more different type in the soul, you can actually use her. Alright, Rising Dragon, you have 2 or more, if you caught 2 or more during this turn, this unit get power plus 10,000. Simple. We have Jada. When enter the Guardian Circle, send it into soul. If there are 4 or more different Silver Thorn in soul, during this battle, one of your unit power plus 15,000. So basically it's not a 5,000 guard, it's a 15,000 guard if you have enough soul. So 2 copies. And the promo, it's not a must play, but it's good to have more options. Enter the field, Soul Blast 1 or more everything from your soul. This unit get plus 15,000 power. It goes well with the previous VR. Right, it goes very well with the previous VR. It's not a must play, but since there's a Silver Thorn in name, why not? Then we have Irina. Enter the field on the rearguard circle. Look at top 2 cards. 1 to soul, 1 back to bottom deck. And when right upon, look at top 3. Add any amount of Silver Thorn into soul. The rest back to bottom deck. If you soul charge 2 or more, draw 1. Definitely a must play. Breathing Dragon. After boosting, if you have 4 or more different Silver Thorn in soul, counterblast 1, send the unit in the same column the rearguard in the same column into soul, and call one out. So you have multiple attack. And rest this unit, look at top 3, add any amount into soul, any amount of silver thorn into soul, the rest back to bottom deck. Right, so increase the amount of ammo you have. And like what I said just now, other than the draw and heal, we basically play as many silver thorn as we can. Even the first Vanguard, silver thorn, and silver thorn. Right, so I believe this is one of the first few deck in the standard that requires you to play units with the same name, right? Which is very nostalgic. Been a very long time since we actually have deck like that. It's more fun when you have the whole family on the field instead of weird combinations, right? So that's for look here. Right, bonus feature, we'll take a look at Nightmare Doll, featuring all the workeroids in standard, almost all. Okay, so with our new addition to the series, we have Carol. So enter the field, look at top 5, put 1 unit into soul, shuffle the deck, and if you send a grade 3, you may call it onto a rearguard circle. So your idea will be Alice into the soul and call it out onto the rearguard circle. Next, as a Vanguard, if a grade 3 rearguard, any grade 3 rearguard, it may be Chimera, may not be a Workeroid, get sent into soul, counterblast 1, discard 2 cards from hand. From your soul, write a Workeroid in stand, and during this turn you get drive -1. So example, Alice attack, pay the cost, send to soul. Then I may counterblast 1, discard 2 cards, write another unit. If I have another Carol in soul, I can write Carol onto Carol. Look at top 5, add a grade 3 into soul, call 1 out. So the highest I went was Vanguard restanding like 3 times in a turn. Very simple. It's a very simple build. So we try to play as many Workeroid as we can for Alice. And we have units that actually, when sent to soul, you can do something to call another unit, or when call from soul, you can actually send another unit back into soul. So example, we have jumping Jill, where enter the field from soul, rearguard from the soul. So example, Alice go in, call Jill out, Jill send another unit into soul, and from your soul call a grade 1, so you can actually call other units. Let's say we'll call the bunny. So after the bunny attack, pay the cost. If you hit, call Alice out, and we can do the loop again. Right, the main issue with this deck is very heavy. The cost is very, very heavy. So and it's a one-time thing. So if you do all the combo thing that one turn and you do not win, basically you are pretty much dead. Right, this is a fun deck. It did work a few times when we were test playing, and it's actually pretty fun. So strongly recommend for players down to try something different, something more fun. And as we said, the Vanguard keep attacking, keep withstanding, so we play a lot of front triggers. So as you can see, there's only like 2 units attacking the Vanguard and one of the rearguard circle. So the front trigger will keep pumping every other unit on the field. And once your Vanguard cannot stand anymore, you have huge unit on the field that can attack. Right? If you want, you can actually change into critical trigger, but front trigger, I can have like 3 more units to 4 more units with huge power, which is pretty useful in this case. And not to forget that every time you rewrite Carol, you discard 2 cards from hand, you use an Excel tool, draw 1, and after this unit attack, trigger check 1, so you drop 2, add 2 back to hand, and restand it, do the same effect again, drop 2, and draw another 2. So you are not really minusing, and yeah, pretty much the only limit is your counter blast. So we played Chimera to counter charge, and if you want, you can go back to what's this called again? Knife Dancer, if you want, but it's only when you have no face-up card in your damage zone at the end of your turn. So that's all from all the decks in BT06. Right, we'll be doing a lot more test play, and maybe go back to some of the older build like Zambaku or Dantalion. We don't know. We'll see what we can do during the long weekend here. Right, so see you.